Hey guys, Tommy with Studio Sense. Welcome to today's video. Hope you're having a great day so far, and thanks for taking the time to stop by and check out today's content. I was walking with my wife. One of the things that we noticed yesterday, all the leaves are starting to fall now because it's that time of year. It's getting a lot cooler, and just the crunch of leaves under your feet, the crispness in the air, just like I described with this video, a little bit of smoke in the background. There's nothing like the smell of fall or the smell of autumn. It has a specific seasonal smell, and there are fragrances out there that put you in mind of a fresh hit of crushed leaves or the smell of wood smoke, something like that. So today I'm featuring 5 very unique fragrances that will put you in mind of fall or autumn, the actual smell of the season. That and more is coming your way, so stay tuned. Today we're talking about unique fragrances, in particular 5 of them that put you in mind of the smell of the season. What's the smell of fall or autumn? If you walk anywhere during the fall or autumn, you're bound to step on leaves. The smell of crushed leaves is very unique. You know, it's very particular. Just like petrichor, the smell of pavement after rain is very unique. The smell of crushed leaves, you know, you've got wood smoke in the background that's reminiscent of, because the weather's getting cooler, people have to stoke fires, create fires in their homes to stay warm. Oftentimes, specifically here in the South, we see that a lot. I don't know if you're in the city or not. You're probably not going to see that as much, but it definitely contributes to the smell of the season. The first fragrance that I want to bring to your attention that smells very reminiscent of fall or autumn is a fragrance very unique by Lalique. Of course, Lalique is very well known for creating very unique fragrances. This one is called Hommage à l'Homme Voyager. Voyager is an extremely unique fragrance, and while I wouldn't call this a signature scent, it could be your signature scent because it's not one of those that you're going to get compliments from. It is definitely not what I would call a crowd pleaser or a fragrance for everyone, but it is extremely unique and very enjoyable. Definitely reminiscent of fall or autumn. Primarily, it carries papyrus, vanilla, amber, and moss in the heart and into the base, and you get that little bit of dankness actually coming from the fragrance, kind of like a countryside walk, specifically during the fall or autumn. You see moss on the trees, you kind of get a hint of that. A little bit of smoke in the background, though there's nothing in the fragrance that would suggest that there's smoke in it in terms of the fragrant notes, but fully combined, the weight of the moss, the amber, and then that vanilla, and it's a bit more of an understated vanilla that helps produce results from the other notes. And it's just extremely unique. Now, this particular fragrance is getting very hard to find. I have substituted in the links below Hommage à l'Homme, just the standard Hommage à l'Homme. The substitution comes from saffron, violet leaf, and pimento, which is in the original, which adds a bit more spice, and in some cases is a bit more seasonal, a bit more autumnal or fall-oriented than is Voyager. So if you can, check out Hommage à l'Homme or Hommage à l'Homme Voyager by Lalique. Next up in my unique fragrances that literally smell like fall or autumn is a fragrance by Guerlain. It is L'Homme Idéal L'Intense. L'Intense is one of those that has kind of a smoky background, a little bit of weight to it, and that comes from the hot pepper. There's hot pepper, there's tonka. L'Homme Idéal L'Intense is like wearing a warm jacket in the fall. That little bit of heat that comes from the hot pepper, light sweetness that comes from the tonka bean. Of course, this line is very well known for almond. There is just a slight nuanced almond there, but it's covered over by more of the spices, you know, the heat from the hot pepper and then the sweetness from the tonka bean. It smells great and performs really well. It's one of my favorite fragrances in the L'Homme Idéal line, L'Homme Idéal L'Intense. There's actually another fragrance by Guerlain that is very reminiscent of fall or autumn. It's actually the next fragrance I'm going to feature, L'Instant de Guerlain pour Homme. This is the Eau de Toilette. There's also an Eau de Parfum version, and either one of them are excellent fragrances. I really like the combination of spices. There's star anise, there's jasmine, there's tea. There's a tea note in here, of course, vetiver, sandalwood, hibiscus, and there's even a cocoa note. Taken as a whole, this fragrance has a very spicy, unique, leafy quality to it that is absolutely reminiscent of fall or autumn. I like how it smells, and I like the sillage trail that it creates. It's very pleasant, very similar to L'Homme Idéal Intense. However, this has a smoke Whereas this has smoke, this has more of the hibiscus and tea. It's a little bit drier, a little bit less heavy, and a little bit more crowd pleasing. So if you're wanting something that's more in line with a daily signature scent, yet still carries that autumnal or fall feeling, definitely check out L'Instant d'Éguerlain Pour Homme, either the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum version. Speaking of dry, autumnal, fall, leaves, hay, another fragrance that is also very reminiscent of fall or autumn that is extremely unique, and not a lot of people are wearing it. I think years ago maybe they wore it more, but it's still one of my absolute favorite fall or autumn fragrances. It is by Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme Intenso. I've said before on this channel that Intenso reminds me of old money because it does have kind of a lightly mature, refined quality about it. The resultant weight of the fragrance created by the combined notes in Intenso are what make it such a great fall or autumn fragrance. Basil, tagetes, lavender, tobacco, there's hay absolute as well as bran absolute. These absolutes are what give it the really sharp, very clear, very dank, mature kind of feeling, kind of a setting for fall or autumn. And it's just one of the better fragrances overall that are going to remind you of the seasonal change in weather, and in particular the fall of leaves. It's kind of that leafy vegetation without the vegetal, and that is from the absolutes in Intenso. This one's been around for a while. You may have tried it out. If you haven't, I highly suggest checking out Dolce & Gabbana's Pour Homme Intenso. Another fragrance that is reminiscent of autumn or fall, and I think is definitely an underutilized gem from Alfred Dunhill of London in the Icon line of fragrances. It is Icon Absolute. Absolute gets passed over by other fragrances in the same line, specifically Icon, which is a great fragrance, but the reason I really like Absolute is it does carry that whole crushed leafy vegetal without the vegetation, without the green smell to it. That is so fall, that is so autumn. It's got Egyptian jasmine, black rose, oud, tobacco, saffron. Anything that contains saffron is definitely going to be a great fall or autumn fragrance. There's even just a hint of Tuscan leather in the very dry down of the fragrance that makes it extremely pleasant. However, if you don't like Icon Absolute, or if you can't find it, which I've linked it below, of course, as I try to do generally speaking, in the same line, another fragrance that is also very similar, very unique, and again, reminiscent of fall or autumn is Icon Elite. Icon Elite just adds ebony, black suede, juniper, and sage into the mix, and so it's just a little bit sharper, a little bit spicier than is Absolute, and in some ways, a little bit better. So definitely check out either Icon Elite or Icon Absolute. Now, these 5 or 6 unique fragrances are all available at discounters. Again, I've linked them down below if you want to check them out. I really feel like there's a unique enjoyment and pleasure in wearing a fragrance that also smells like the season that we're in. It's just part of the enjoyment and the celebration, really, of change. If you have any experience with these fragrances, let me know in the comments below. Or if you feel like there are other fragrances that specifically smell or remind you of fall or autumn, let me know what those are as well. Thanks so much, though, for stopping by, and as always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.